I, the pure consciousness or sense of self-awareness. I, the pure consciousness or sense of self-awareness, would manifest the words of truth and would manifest the words of wisdom through this finite mind and through this finite body. I, the pure consciousness or the sense of self-awareness, would manifest the words of truth and would manifest the words of wisdom. Blessings to be on my truth seeker and blessings to be on my listener. Somebody during the week inquired they have been following my YouTube channel for quite a while now, and they like the words of truth and wisdom. The first opening of their letter or inquiry, that they like the words of truth and wisdom and they are fascinated by all this clarity in their life. However, they have asked me a very legitimate question. They have asked me a very significant question. And the question is, why all this clarity is so significant that you have devoted yourself for this purpose, and you are running a channel to bring clarity. Why all this clarity is so significant in our daily life, in our regular life or on the regular basis? To answer to that is, you can walk away. I hope you are paying attention and paying focus to my words. You can walk away from a situation. You can walk away from a person or a band of people or a group of people if you do not like what they are saying or what they are doing. You have the option to walk away. But if I ask you to walk away from yourself, that is not possible. Are you understanding? If I ask you to walk away from yourself, that is not possible. To walk away from yourself. We are going to look at your inquiry very, very profoundly and deeply. But I have made the opening by saying you cannot walk away from yourself. Wherever you go, you carry yourself. As a matter of fact, wherever you go, that's the only reality you know through your own experience. Wherever you go, that is the only reality you know through your own experience. It's very significant to bring clarity and conduct the process of life with clarity. More than half of the humanity, when they leave their house to earn a living or to choose, or when they come across to other humans, each single one of them has a mind frame. Are you hope excuse me, I am hoping that you are understanding what I'm telling you. More than half of the humanity is functioning with a particular mind frame. More than half of the humanity is functioning with a mind frame which is, I am not going to be nice first. In other words, they are in a defensive mode. They say, I am not going to be nice first, and I am going to be only nice in return. If everyone around you, if you have a mind frame like that, that I am not going to be nice first, but I am going to be nice only in return, or I am not going to be polite or authentic first, but only in return. If each one of us has a mind frame like that, then nobody is going to be nice to nobody. Is that a correct statement? What I'm saying to you, if each one of us has a mind frame that I am not going to be nice first, then can we create a nice, polite, or healthy society? That's number two, which shines up the reason why self conducting the process of life with clarity and why self awareness is so significant. When you become totally authentic, when you become totally authentic, when you become totally legitimate, when you look at creation as you perceive yourself first, when you have overcome, when you have overcome to the voice of knowledge or what you understand as thoughts, then it's only natural for you to be nice and for you to be polite with yourself, and then it's only natural that you would spread that around you. So I told you that each one of us has made a covenant inside that I'm not going to be nice first. But the thing is, it's not about the other person, it's about you. When you become totally authentic, when you become totally natural, when you live in, when you live with divinity, when you live with sacred all the time, you don't have to put effort to be nice towards anyone. It's only natural. It would reflect through you and from you to other people. It's only natural. It's a natural process. You see, humans, most of us humans, or more than half of the humanity, it's very reasonable for me to say, it's very legitimate for me to say that more than half of the humanity is living in lies. Nobody is getting through nobody. That's why clarity is so significant. That's why clarity is so important, because there is a lot of energy for no reason, for no good reason, is being consumed and is being wasted on the things that you have no reason to worry about. But the thing, the voices of knowledge, what you understand as thought, everything that you have learned, everything that you have gained, you think it's you. But the real you or real us is standing somewhere in the corner and being abused by the entire mind frame or the thought process that happens every day, numerous days of the week, numerous weeks of the month, numerous months of the year, and every year. It never stops. As a matter of fact, more than half of the humanity is not even capable of challenging whether it is real or not real, whether it is natural or not natural. When I see humans and when I correspond with humans, I see that they are totally occupied within themselves. When you are so caught up in fear that everyone is out there to get you, when you are living in a defensive mode, when you are trying, uh, when you are trying to make a point, when you are trying to prove a point to other people, when you have a mind frame that you wanna prove a point, when you have a mind frame that every single one of the person out there is in competition with you, then you have no way to relax, then you have no way to retrieve to your fundamental and divine nature, then you are stuck in a tight, narrow band, unfortunately. The band is so tight that you can feel the intensity of the band, you see. Then you are stuck. In order to perceive the divinity, in order to perceive sacred, you must empty your vacuum, you see. You perceive at all times through your five senses of perception. And by the way, I'm sure you know it by now. I have mentioned it numerous times that all five senses are outwards. Everything what you are perceiving every second, even if there is nothing going on and you are sitting and perceiving, it is making a memory. It is making a data. It's a lot of knowledge. It's a lot of it's a lot of knowledge. It's a lot of memory. Hence, it is extremely dire and it is extremely significant. Hence, it is extremely dire and it is extremely significant to manage your thoughts and to manage your emotions. Hence, it is extremely significant and it is extremely dire to manage your thoughts and to manage your emotions. It's a lot of data. It is a lot of knowledge. It is a lot of information which is being gathered. And if we are not conducting the process of life with clarity and with awareness, there is no way that we can be happy. I can guarantee you that, I can promise you that. That's why clarity and the significance of self-awareness is so important, because once you understand all the layers and once you understand all the sheets of your existence, then you can channel it or move it towards any way you want it. But you have to have a control on these things. Otherwise, you see those, imagine a latex balloon, like a rubber balloon. And if you blow the balloon so huge, that balloon, if you blow the balloon so huge that after a certain period of time, when the rubber balloon cannot encompass air no more, is gonna burst. You see, is gonna burst. And so this is what happens to us if we are not capable of managing the thoughts, which is nothing but the memory, and it is arranging and rearranging. Just because you are having the thought, I have mentioned that before, just because you are having the thought, it does not mean the thought is yours. No thought is your personal thought. You don't own your thoughts. Your mind is the mind of all humanity. Brain is an organ which is separate than the mind. Brain is an organ which basically channelizes the mind in according to the surroundings. If you understand, mind exists on numerous levels. Memory exists on numerous levels. Memory exists in your DNA. Memory exists in not only mind exists in your DNA, mind exists not only inner but outer, you see. And thoughts and the mind recycles all the information, all the knowledge, and it would never stop. It seems like it's a separate entity, which it is. And the is mind seems to be in the charge of you. But what we do in our yogic culture, we make the mind realize that I am in the charge, not you. Mind always races towards the future. But the thing is, there is no such thing as future. By the time future comes and you are experiencing the future, you are experiencing the future in now. So there is only present. If you do not create sufficient distance between what you essentially are and your mind, then mind would race ahead of you, and mind would tell you that I have a lot of experience about these scenarios and you must listen to me. And mind always try mind always tries to come to the conclusions. Mind always tries to come to the results. So mind can feel secure. So mind can feel protected. But in the process, real us, in the process, real you becomes very vulnerable only if we let the mind do what it does. So the best, the thoughts mind is recycling, the data mind is recycling. It's not what mind does, it's what mind is. I have mentioned that before to you. And what it is recycling, in the process, it is making us vulnerable. You see, it's never going to stop because it's its job and it is fine. So when you become self-aware and when you conduct the process of very life with clarity, then you realize that all these thoughts that I am having in me, all these thoughts that they are trying to abuse me, because most of these thoughts are not very pleasant. If I do not create sufficient distance, which means bringing clarity and conducting the process of life with awareness, then is going to be in the charge always. In yogic culture, in our meditation culture, we try to make sure that we tame the mind and we turn the mind into our ally. You see, then you wouldn't have to live in the defensive mode. Then you wouldn't have to look around and treat everything as a competition. Then you wouldn't have to compete with anyone. Then you wouldn't have to prove a point to anyone. You see, you become totally authentic. There is no pretending in you now. I see humans. Now remember something. As I always tell you, remember the word remember. So remember something, that when I see humans, I realize that nobody is getting through nobody, you see. And because of the mind frame I mentioned in the beginning of this video, that people are looking at each other with hope and with vulnerability and hoping the other person or the person who is about to come in contact with them is going to be nice first. But remember, it's not about the other person, it's about you. Once you become authentic, it becomes only natural for other people to perceive that authenticity in the form of politeness, in the form of love from you. And it is a beautiful gift that you can give to another human. You see, your goal is not to change the globe. Your goal is not to change the entire world. I have mentioned that before. Your goal is to look at your life, that how you are living, and to do something about it. The goal is to profoundly look at your life and see where is that concrete happiness which was my birthright? Where is my paradise lost? How do I basically claim that paradise lost? You see, I see human. I observe humans. I do not draw opinions. I do not draw judgments about opinion. I just look at a scene. I just look at an experience without having a thought, without having a judgment or opinion about it. And once we look at that, we realize, when I look at that, I realize that sadly, most humans, basically, this is not some fabrication. This is not some conclusion. This is what it reflects from that. I am not saying that everyone is like that. And I don't like to make assumptions. So I'm not assuming that each one of you is like that. Maybe you are already conducting the life of the process, excuse me, maybe you are already conducting the process of life with awareness. If that is so, then this message, then this video is not for you. You can discard my words. Maybe you are already on the form of, on that level or on that form of evolution. My message here uh, is for someone who is vulnerable. My message here is for somebody who seeks happiness outside of themselves. And my message is for someone who depends their who depends or banks that their happiness or their misery in other people's hands. You understand? My message is for those people. My message goes on the basis of to whom it is concerned or to whom it may concern. If you think that it does not concern you, then you can move on. But if you think it concerns you, then pay extreme focus to my words, because I'm liberating you. I'm giving you a choice. I'm giving you the freedom to think beyond the eyes of judgment, discrimination, and human conditioning. And once you do that, when you acquire that kind of mind frame, when you acquire that kind of awareness, then you always live one with the sacred and one with the divine. And that is the purpose of a yogi, that is the purpose of a mystic, to see happy human around us. You see, then we wouldn't have to look at each other and silently hope that other person is going to be nice to me, or look at other person and beg within silently, please, please, please be nice to me, please be nice to me, please be nice to me. You see, so that's why I am bringing clarity through my words. When I see humans, they half of the humanity is acting in a defensive mode, like everybody is out there to get them. Everybody is out there to gossip about them. Everybody is out there to create conspiracy. Everybody is out there to bring them down. Everybody is out there to get them. Everybody is out there to abuse them. More than half of the humanity is living on these assumptions. It's me, 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 always me. Are you understanding what I'm saying? But truth of the matter is, it's not about you. It's not me always. It's not about the assumptions your mind makes, and the very next moment it discards the assumption with something else and makes another assumption. It's not about you. None of the action or no action others perform is because of you. Are you understanding what I'm saying to you in this message? None of the actions or a single action or any action or none of the actions others do is because of you. Please know that and please remember that. It's because of themselves. Understand? It's not because of you. It's because of themselves. and they are responsible for their happiness. You are responsible for yours. Humans are living in an extreme frustration. Humans are living in extreme frustration, extreme tension, unfortunately, because in extreme suspicion they are living. They are looking at each other and they are making the assumptions, maybe this person is talking about me. If they are looking to a couple of people or a group of people, they are making assumptions. Maybe these people are talking about me, maybe these people are conspiring, or maybe these people are gossiping about me. You see, but once you achieve and once you conduct the process of life with clarity, you realize that even if somebody is gossiping about you, even if somebody is conspiring about you or talking bad about you, you see, you are now immune to these type of these type of culprits. Rather, you are now immune. You have built, you have developed a very strong immunal system by realizing what you truly are, but not what you think you are. There is a difference. I'm sure you know the difference. Do not live in what you think you are, but live in what you really are. You see, and the only way you can attain, the only way you can achieve that level of awareness is by making time every day for yourself, no matter who you are, no matter what part of the world you live in, no matter how far or close you are from me or from this message. Help does not require anything from outside. Tremendous clarity can be brought by performing simple actions, by performing simple meditation, by making some time every day for you. It's time for me to conduct a private meditation session, but we will carry on a little more since I still have some time in my hands. You see, no matter what part of the world you live in, no matter how far or close you are from me, you can conduct and bring clarity. You can conduct meditation every day by making some time for yourself, by sitting in a super. Remember, I tell you to sit in a super silent corner and just look at a blank wall and sit attentive, pay attention, focus to your breathing. Just very simple. Attentive spine or the backbone as much as you can, as comfortable as you can. Otherwise, it would defeat the purpose. Only that if you do every day on the regular basis, you would create sufficient distance from you and your thought. I always tell my followers always trust yourself, but do not trust your thoughts. You see, be always skeptic to what the thought is telling you, but trust yourself. And the only way you would learn to trust yourself when you become totally authentic, when you are conducting the process consciously, when you have the awareness and when you have the clarity. You see, when you have the awareness and when you have the clarity, you can attain that happiness. Then you don't have to bank. That's the word I'm looking for in English. That then you don't have to bank then you do not have to depend on other people. Then you take the remote control back from others, which basically controls your happiness and your misery. I tell my followers, nobody can make me miserable. Nobody can make me happy. I am the sole responsible to make myself happy and to make myself miserable. I am totally in charge because I have created a tremendous amount of distance between me and my mind or thoughts. So tremendous that when a thought moves and I witness the movement of the thought in me, I know whether this thought is going to be friendly with me or whether this thought is going to abuse me. And if I realize this thought is bringing funny sensations in my awareness, and if I realize that this thought is going to abuse me, this thought is going to make me sad, I do not volunteer my awareness to the thought because I know and I remember profoundly and I realize profoundly, not even remember, but realize profoundly that if I do not bring my awareness voluntarily to the thought would not sustain. The reason thought sustains in my awareness, the reason thoughts sustain in me is because of me. Thought does not have the existence of its own. It gets life from me. All this, what I have been telling you since I started this video, is to is to show you the clear picture that what we are doing and why we are constantly struggling for happiness and why we are so vulnerable and why we are constantly looking outside but not inside for happiness. And how can we achieve a concrete sense of happiness or being happy at all time? Happiness is our fundamental nature. Happiness is our birthright. Happy all the time. That's why clarity and significance of being aware is so crucial, is so dire. You see, um, anytime when we anytime when we catch ourselves consciously at any given moment, we realize we are in a state of compulsion. We are in a state because the mind is racing ahead of us. And it is fine, mind can race ahead of us. We are not concerned with the mind. That's the goal of us. However, what happens in reality, or for the most part, is we catch ourselves in a state of compulsion that as soon as whatever I am doing, as soon as whatever I am performing, as soon as it is done, what would I do next? You see, because we are told and we have been trained and we have been conditioned to think that we need to do something all the time, but it is not true. Sometimes you just don't do anything. It's not true to do something all the time. Then you would realize that if you are not in a state of compulsion, that what is going to be next. That is mind right there, which is asking you the question, what is going to be next? And it creates a state of compulsion. Compulsion in a sense that as soon as I am done or I am finished with this, whatever I am doing, I have to move on to something else. It's compulsion in that sense. But through yoga and through meditation and through and by performing simple practice, you instill, you see, that's the word I'm looking for. You instill yourself in the present moment. You see, your thoughts, you instill yourself so concrete in the present moment that thoughts do not have any control or any effect on you because you are in the present moment and you realize this present moment is not coming from anywhere, it is not going anywhere. Present moment is all there is. Once you instill, once you establish yourself in the present moment, then you would have an entirely different experience of life. I hope you understand that. When the state of compulsion is gone, when the state of racing in competition is gone, when the state of being defensive for no reason is gone, when we get rid of the voice of knowledge which abuses us all the time or prompts us to abuse others, God forbid me, when all this nastiness is gone, then you live in a concrete peace. This peace cannot be taken away by anything outside of you. You see, then you live, you become one. You see, you become one with divine. You become one with sacred. You live in peace, harmony, and love. You live in synchronicity. You are synchronized with everything around you. Your inner self is synchronized with everything around, you see. So that's why the conducting, the process of life conducting with awareness is extremely significant. Since you wrote me and I delivered the message and I conveyed this retreat. See if you have any confusions. If you need to rewatch this video, please go ahead and do so. If you have any confusions, if you have any questions, feel free to write to me. If you are shy, you can express your confusion. You can express your you can express your confusion and you can express what is making you perplexed, and I would answer you. My job is to bring clarity in your perception because once there is clarity and no fog, and then and only then you attain the concrete happiness.